Hello everyone, Radhe Radhe. I hope all of you are doing well. Today I'm here with shlok number 36. Last we had discussed from shlok number 32 to 35. Today we'll be discussing about shlok number 36 and see ki what happens ahead, how Arjun goes about it, and how Shri Krishna helps Arjuna to gain back his confidence. So it starts as Papam eva shrayed asman hatvaitan atatayina tashman narhavayam hantum dhritarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhina shama madhava, which means यदि हम ऐसे आतताइयों का वध करते हैं तो हम पर पाप चढ़ेगा। अतः यह उचित नहीं होगा कि हम धृतराष्ट्र के पुत्रों तथा उनके मित्रों का वध करें। हे लक्ष्मीपति कृष्ण, इससे हमें क्या लाभ होगा और अपने ही कुटुंबों को मारकर हम किस प्रकार सुखी हो सकते हैं। वैदिक आदेश अनुसार अदाताई 6 प्रकार के होते हैं। विष देने वाला, घर में अग्नि लगाने वाला, घातक हथियार से आक्रमण करने वाला, धन लूटने वाला, दूसरे की भूमि हड़पने वाला तथा पराई स्त्री का अपहरण करने वाला। ऐसे अताताइयों का तुरंत वध कर देना चाहिए क्योंकि इनके वध से कोई पाप नहीं लगता। अताताइयों का इस तरह वध करना किसी सामान्य व्यक्ति को शोभा दे सकता है, किंतु अर्जुन कोई सामान्य व्यक्ति नहीं है। वह स्वभाव से साधु है, अतः वह उनके साथ साधुत्व का व्यवहार करना चाहता था, किंतु इस प्रकार का व्यवहार क्षत्रिय के लिए उपयुक्त नहीं है। यद्यपि राजा के प्रशासन के लिए उत्तरदायी व्यक्ति को साधु प्रकृति का होना चाहिए, किंतु उसे कायर नहीं होना चाहिए। उदाहरणार्थ भगवान राम इतने साधु थे कि आज भी लोग राम राज्य में रहना चाहते हैं, किंतु उन्होंने कभी कायरता प्रदर्शित नहीं की। रावण अताताई था क्योंकि वह राम की पत्नी सीता का अपहरण करके ले गया था, किंतु राम ने उसे ऐसा पाठ पढ़ाया जो विश्व इतिहास में बेजोड़ है। अर्जुन के प्रसंग में विशिष्ट प्रकार के अताताइयों से भेंट होती है। ये हैं उसके निजी पितामह, आचार्य, मित्र, पुत्र, पौत्र इत्यादि। इसलिए अर्जुन ने विचार किया कि उनके प्रति वह सामान्य अताताइयों जैसा कटु व्यवहार न करे। इसके अतिरिक्त साधु पुरुषों को तो क्षमा करने की सलाह दी जाती है। साधु पुरुषों के लिए ऐसे आदेश किसी राजनीतिक आपातकाल से अधिक महत्व रखते हैं। इसलिए अर्जुन ने विचार किया कि राजनीतिक कारणों से स्वजनों का वध करने की अपेक्षा धर्म तथा सदाचार की दृष्टि से उन्हें क्षमा कर देना श्रेयस्कर होगा। अतः क्षणिक शारीरिक सुख के लिए इस तरह वध करना लाभप्रद नहीं होगा। अनंतः जब सारा राज्य तथा उससे प्राप्त सुख स्थायी नहीं है, तो फिर अपने स्वजनों को मारकर वह अपने ही जीवन तथा शाश्वत मुक्ति को संकट में क्यों डाले। अर्जुन द्वारा कृष्ण को माधव अथवा लक्ष्मीपति के रूप में संबोधित करना भी सार्थक है। वह लक्ष्मीपति कृष्ण को यह बताना चाह रहा था कि वे उसे ऐसा काम करने के लिए प्रेरित न करें जिससे अनिष्ट हो। किंतु कृष्ण कभी भी किसी का अनिष्ट नहीं चाहते, भक्तों का तो कदापि नहीं। So here, as we discussed, the first important aspect is that Arjuna, he is scared because he does not want to commit a sin by killing wrongly, by killing his own elders, by killing his own guru. So he's asking here to Lord Shri Krishna that what will I get? Will I be happy? And will this not be a sin to kill my own elders, my own people, my own elderly gurus who are considered at the position of worship? So, will this be right? And then what happens is, here they're talking about 6 types of aggressors, basically 6 type of acts in which killing those people is valid. By this, I am not trying to encourage anything, by the way. This is written in the Bhagavad Gita. So, the aggressor number 1 is someone who is given poison. Aggressor number 2 is someone who sets fire to somebody's house. Aggressor number 3 is someone who attacks with deadly weapons. And 4 is someone who plunders the riches, mostly like corruption. And 5th is someone who occupies others' land, you know, by any unethical means. And 5th is someone who kidnaps somebody's wife. So, sorry, 6th is someone who kidnaps somebody's wife. So now there are 6 types of aggressors, and these are certain types of sins that you must not do as per the Sanatan Dharma. So here what Shri Krishna is saying, that such aggressors can be killed and no sin is incurred if you kill such aggressors. So for an ordinary man, killing such aggressors would have been normal because they are mostly moved by greed. But Arjun was not an ordinary man. He was a compassionate man and someone who was very saintly. Someone who had so much of compassion that, let alone killing, he was ready to forgive them, keeping in mind that he did not want to, commit any sin that will come between him and his moksha. So what happens is, now he's saintly, but as a Kshatriya, he's also tied down to his duties. The duties of a Kshatriya is, if someone challenges you, you have to go fight. You cannot back out. So here he cannot be cowardly. Or this would be rather looked at cowardly instead of looking it as an act of compassion, which was the actual intention of Arjuna. Now what happens is, when Sri Rama, he was also a very saintly man. Obviously, he was God, but he came in one of his avatar where he was not aware that he was God. So he lived exactly like a very simple human being. So people were scared. People always tried to live in his kingdom because of how saintly Sri Ram was. And he was not a coward in any way, because when Ravana, being an aggressor, he kidnapped Mata Sita. So Lord, as in Sri Ram, he followed the same rule, right? He had the same right, and he taught Ravan the sort of lesson that cannot be matched with anything in the world. The way they fought, the way he showed Ravan his way, was something quite, I'd say it was also an act of bravery, but moreover it was an act of justice, where he made sure that anyone who did anything wrong cannot escape justice. Now, So here, but in Arjun's case, the aggressors are his own people, right? So Arjun, he thought to not to take such severe steps towards his own people, and he wanted to be saintly and forgive his own people so that it does not lead to any sort of sins for him. So such situation, what happens is, for a saintly person, it's actually very important to fight for the right things, because most of the times, because the saintly people forgive everyone for everything, the adharma rises, and it keeps rising until God has to come and then fight, and then tell the saintly people to fight. So which is why it has been compared to a political emergency. So Arjuna felt that it would be better that I forgive them. I will be able to live happily, and they can take away whatever um, material kingdom they want, and whatever material gains they can have for themselves. Whereas he knew that the kingdom and the pleasure that they'll get is actually temporary. So why risk life and eternal salvation, as in moksha, for something that is so temporary, that can just go away any moment of their life? So what happens is, Arjuna, he addresses Krishna as Madhava and Lakshmipati, knowingly saying that, why are you asking me to do something that will bring me misfortune? Whereas Sri Krishna only brings fortune to everyone, and specifically to his devotees. So here, if you will see, Arjuna is actually in the illusion of Maya. So he's thinking that everything and everyone that he can see are his own, whereas it is just a matter of time that his body is also not his own, that his body has been given to him as a gift from God to follow the purpose that Arjuna was there to follow in his, that lifetime. Whereas something very interesting we see here is, because he is also compassionate, there is a negative side to his compassion. Most of the people say that compassion is very good, but it also has a negative side. That is, when it's time to fight for your rights, you end up trying to maintain, peace. So here, this is what Sri Krishna is trying to teach, that it's actually very, very important to fight for your rights when it's needed, to fight for whatever you believe in, specifically if you know that it is going to bring in a very bad repercussion if you don't follow it. So Sri Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna that it is not selfish to fight for your own rights, and even if it means that it will come up with hurting other people in some instances, because it was not Arjuna who called up a fight, it was Duryodhana and Kauravas who wanted to fight. They wanted to fight for greed, whereas Arjuna and the Pandavas and Krishna, they wanted to fight for justice. They wanted to fight for their own rights because they were done wrong. So here it's very important for us to understand when we need to stop being good and when we need to start being more truthful instead of just being good. So, being too good is also not good. This is the lesson for today. So, I hope all of you are having a good time learning. If so, please share my video and like and subscribe to the channel. We are all learning together, and this is a safe space. So, all of us can kind of motivate each other a little bit by sharing in the videos. That helps a lot. Also, I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next video, that is on Shloka 37, and we'll be discussing on what Sri Krishna answers after this. Till then, take care of yourself. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe.